Okay, let's talk about sensitivity analysis. This is a little bit of math, but it's very important and very valuable, as you will see. So let's look down here and see. We can see that the net present value is very sensitive to changes in revenues. Stewart Pharmaceuticals, a drop of 14% in revenue leads to a 61% drop in net present value. Where did we come up with that? Well, the percent change in revenue, 6 billion minus 7 billion is $1 billion negative reduction in revenue divided by the original number, $7 billion, gives us a fall of 14.29%. I think I said in the previous video it was around 15%. I was doing that in my head. It's about 14.29% is the difference. So you can see that a 14% change in sales revenue of 14%. What is the change in net present value? Well, the net present value went from 34.33 to 13.48, which is a 60% fall in net present value. So a 14% reduction in revenue caused a 60% fall in net present value. So it's very sensitive to revenues. Another way you can look at that is for every 1% drop in revenue, we can roughly expect a 4.25% drop in NPV. And how did we calculate that? Well, we just used the numbers we just calculated. The negative 60% fall divided by the 14.29% change in revenue. The change over the change is for every one of the bottom units being the revenue. For every one of the bottom units, we get 4.25 of the top units. The top units are percent and negative. So for every 1% fall in revenue, we get a negative 4.25% fall in net present value. So it's very sensitive to revenues, so we need to make very sure our sales numbers are clear and that we are on target with those, because they're going to be a very important part of bringing the project to positive cash flow and to fruition. So when you think about the sensitivity analysis, you can see that it's very powerful to help a CEO or any division manager or decision maker in finding out what they really need to focus on. And in this case, revenues are going to be very important, because every loss of 1% of your revenues costs you 4.25% in your net present value, or the value of your project. So you don't want revenues to slip very much at all. So sensitivity analysis can be very valuable. There's a little bit of math involved in it, but once you get it set up on a spreadsheet, it's a piece of cake to figure out. And of course, the impact of knowing that as a manager would be very powerful. So let's move on and do some break-even analysis.